Good morning, everybody, and good evening if any of our American viewers are on today. So I'm pretty excited about today's episode, and I'm just actually going to have a special guest called Daniella who's going to come in and join me. She's another psychotherapist, and I'm just going to bring her into the chat now. So, hi Maria. Yeah, I'm just going to go find Daniella and see how this goes. And Daniella's very okay, so what I might do is get Daniella. Can you send me a friend request in here, Daniella? Okay, so I'm just going to stop this for a sec. Okay, so here she is. Let's go. Tom. Good morning, Jessica. So we've got 3 people on here already, so we're just waiting for Daniella to come through. So it looks like here she is now. Hi. Okay. All right, so I've got, I can barely hear you. So can you just speak a little bit so I can check the sound?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll speak a bit louder.
Okay, that's good. If you can keep the microphone maybe a bit closer to you. So, good morning.
Hi.
How are you this morning?
Good, I'm good, and hello to everyone.
Yeah, well, it's wonderful to have you on here, and I'm pretty excited about having Daniella on because Daniella is going to be going through the SEMPI Social Communication Model, and we're going to be showing people how to use it in an everyday situation. So I'm just going to explain a little bit about that. So basically, I've written the SEMPI Social Communication Model, and these are the brochures that have been made up for me very, very, very kindly from my amazing friends from the IGM Federation, also known as Good Scrolls. They're actually an American company, and they've teamed up with me, and they very kindly send out care packages across the world, and they send care packages across America and out to the soldiers also in Iraq and American soldiers. And they send the packages out with all different things in them, so shaving kits and all sorts of different things depending on where the kits are going. So they send them to homeless shelters, they send them out to different affiliated organizations with them. So they go to schools, they go to different church groups, they go out to hospices and hospitals because they do a lot of work with children. So hi Dave and Wendy, and if you're watching, and I'm very excited. So these brochures they've actually made up for me and they sent to me, and they've done it for free, so that's why I wanted to sort of mention them this morning because it's a pretty big deal. They've got their own publishing place, so they've made them all up for me, and they've got all the different colours, and they've printed them on all the shiny paper for me too. So basically, they've encompassed my entire model here in the one brochure. So this is what we're going to be going through today. This is the community model. This is the free model that has gone out across, so many places, so many countries. So I'm really, really proud of it, and this is what the community members are using. So you can see it in the background, but my sign, are you okay? It'll be backwards because we're on Instagram. But basically, if you're ever asked the question, are you okay? It's an awesome question, gets the conversation started. But what happens if the person that you're actually sitting with says no? So some of us have great empathic listening skills, and we hone them, and we're kind of comfortable with sitting with people who say no. So, and then we'll talk to them and find out what it is practically that they need help with, if they just want to talk, if they need to go and seek professional help or whatever. But for some of us, that's not possible. So this is where the model comes in. So what happens if you ask someone, are you okay, and they answer no? So the suggestion is that instead they actually ask, if the question doesn't feel right, we're actually introducing the question, how's your SEMPI? So this is where this model comes in. So do you know how to stop what you're doing and have a deeper, more real conversation with another person, allowing them to feel heard, validated, and understood? So this model works on the premise that there's one person who's a listener and one person who's a sharer. So in this instance, I'm going to be the listener who's asking the questions, and Danielle is going to be the sharer today. So thank you for stepping into this space and doing this with me, Daniela, so that we can demonstrate actually how this is used. And then if anybody wants to go on the website and go through it themselves or request a brochure or whatever, they can just contact me. So are you ready to get started?
I'm as ready as I can ever be.
Okay, hon. Okay. So this is Daniella's first live feed too. So she's being really, really brave today. So have you got your cup of tea there, Daniella?
I actually finished it before this, so I can concentrate.
Okay.
Very nervous today.
Okay. Well, the first question that we always ask is around sleep and safety. So these questions in here, I will be asking Daniella now. And so it's basically, when we say, how's your SEMPI? The first question is, how was your sleep overall last night or in the last week, Daniella?
Okay, so just to give the listeners a brief background, unfortunately, my father hasn't been well lately, so I guess my sleep for the past week and probably for a few weeks now hasn't been that great. It's almost like I've been in a different time zone, so I've been sleeping anywhere between 4 to 6 a.m. and waking up at 2 p.m. So I had to take a step back from work in order to focus on myself because of that, because sleep and thinking around the clock was not great for me, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. And when you started to go to sleep, did any thoughts keep you awake?
Well, I think last night in particular, it was a bit split. So there was the thoughts on what's going on in my personal life surrounding my father, and then on the other side there was this live feed, because there's a lot of anxiety surrounding being on a live stream. I've always been scared of going live, so I'm actually conquering a fear today. So yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah. Okay. So was there a thought that stood out for you at all?
Look, not in particular last night, but in the past week or even few weeks, it's predominantly been surrounding my father, and then also realizing that in the last few days, once he was starting to get better, realizing that I was actually going out there and seeking support from friends and starting to self-care just in simple things like just wanting to get a manicure and a pedicure and, you know, get my eyebrows done.
Oh, yes, you mentioned that. That's...
Yes. I have an eyebrow appointment today, everyone.
Well, thank you also, Tom, because he's putting up some words of encouragement for you there. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Tom's one of my American buddies, so he's also an artist. So, yeah. Yeah, he does a lot of anti-stigma work around PTSD and war veterans and things like that. So he's another big time fighting the war against stigma guy that I've been watching and following for a long time. So thank you for the love there, Tom. And thank you whoever's sending all those beautiful rainbow hearts through too. That's beautiful. So is there any thoughts that you'd like to talk about at the moment? Because that's the next question, and basically people can choose whether to go into the question or not. So the next question, is there any thoughts that you would like to talk about at this moment?
Look, not in particular. I think I'm talking about it really.
Okay.
I think right now I'm just focusing on the live stream. That's all my focus is, where it is at the moment.
Okay.
It's just about don't screw up. You could do this. Conquer your fear.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. So all right, so the next question is, are you feeling safe in the place where you're sleeping each night? So this is a question that may not be applicable to you, because I pretty much know that you are. So, but this is a question that sometimes we ask. Well, we always ask it because sometimes women in domestic violence will actually say no to this question. People who are homeless will often say no. People who are in corporate, who are very, very stressed and their mental health is starting to really deteriorate, might actually say no, because what we see a lot in the corporate sector is people who are being stretched beyond their limits, and then their mental health starts to go down. Or if there's their two-income family, for example, might drop down to one, so the repayments on the house aren't being made. So they're now maybe potentially looking at losing their stability of accommodation. So, and sometimes with rentals too, you just never know when you're going to be leaving. Or so this question's a pretty interesting one. So are you feeling safe where you sleep each night is the next question that comes under S. So it's also really good for children, because we know, and this is a really difficult topic for a lot of people, but children who are experiencing childhood sexual abuse, and this, a part of doing this show is talking about this stuff. Often when we're using this in schools, sometimes the children will indicate that they're not sleeping at night, and then they might actually talk more about what's happening for them, whether someone's coming in or whatever. So this is really a big question. So are you feeling safe in the place where you're sleeping each night? It's a much bigger question than a lot of people realise. So yeah, are you happy to move to the next question here, Daniella?
Yeah, I'm very fortunate where I'm sleeping. I'm very lucky. Yeah.
Okay, so the next questions are basically not applicable to you. So this is how we can use the model. We can jump questions to applicable questions as well. So are you feeling calm about sleeping, or do you need some extra support?
That's actually a good question for me. I think there are some nights where I feel like I do need some extra support, because you do go to sleep and you do have those nightmares just regarding what's going on at home.
Yeah.
However, on majority of the nights they're quite good. But yeah, I guess how do you get support for nightmares? It's just all about, I think, being
So I've got a bit of buffering going on at the moment. I don't know if that's affecting any of you. I'm just going to quickly send Danielle a message. Okay, and hopefully the okay, it looks like so what we'll do is I'll get her to just come back here. Okay, so you see it where you are too, Tom. Okay, so it looks like she's left, and we'll see if she's coming back because I've got a few more questions for her. So I'll just keep talking. Can you still see me, Tom? Okay, great. Okay, wonderful. All right, so basically, if we look at this again, so now currently, for anybody who's just joined us, we're going through the SEMPI Social Communication Model. So this is the pamphlet that's available free to community members. So if somebody asks, if you ask somebody, are you okay, and they actually say no, then we go back through and we say, how's your SEMPI? So at the moment, I'm just explaining what this means. So at this point, I'm just waiting for Daniella to come back in. And so I've been going through the S set of questions with her, which you can see here. So sleep's really, really important because with sleep, if sleep affects everything we do during the day in a really, really big way. So if we're waking up in the middle of the night because we're having flashbacks, for instance, or somebody's coming into our room. Okay, so it looks like Daniella's coming back on. We're just having terrible, terrible physical pain and it's keeping us awake, or we're in grief, or there's something that's bothering us during the day, like our boss might have said to us, okay, I want to see you tomorrow morning, first thing in the morning. I want you in a meeting and we're going to have a discussion about your performance. Like, you might be up all night thinking about that. And then when you get in there, like, oh, your performance was great, congratulations. Like, what? So it's really, really interesting to ask the first question about sleep. So, okay, she's saying that I've frozen. So, okay. Hi, Daniella. Okay, so I can hear you, but I can't see you. So, okay, okay. We'll just wait until the buffering stops, or we might have to end it. So what I'll do is I'll keep going because I think people can see me. So let's look at E for emotions. So can you actually see my screen, Daniella? Okay, all right, so these are the questions for E for emotions. So when we say, how's your SEMPI, you can say, well, my sleep was blah, 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 or we can go in, okay, thank you, Tom, or we can go in and start with emotions. So are you feeling any upsetting emotions at the moment? This is the first question that we've got. Okay. Okay. Okay, okay. So one of the examples here are crying, withdrawn, unsettled, or just not sure about what emotion it is that you're feeling. So just a bit of a prompt. Okay. All right, Tom's saying that he can't see or hear you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cross you down and bring you back in. Can you All right, so it's back to me. All right, so that her emotions are up and down, which has got a lot to do, I'd say, with what's going on with her dad. And all right, so here she comes. So we're just waiting for Daniella. So the next question Oh, there you are. Okay, so the next question, if there are emotions, is there a story behind the emotions that you would like to share? And you can say yes or no at this point because you're on a live stream. So, but people will get the idea.
Well, I guess the story is basically behind what is going on with my father, and it's predominantly medical issues, and it is based. I'll keep it brief, for my sake. It's not well, and it's the whole family, I think, is going through the same thing, and it's just basically taking it day at a time, and it's a very scary thing. So yeah, just seeing what will happen, I think, is the thing that's really scaring the family. However, in the past probably 4 days, things are looking extremely positive. So the family has been extremely positive. So I think the emotions are starting to stabilize, whereas before that it was one day it was good, one day it was bad. So yeah.
Well, thank goodness. Okay, so we've got an upward trajectory. So yay, Dad, he's rallying and fighting really hard. So it's probably a lot to do with heaps of the love and what's going on with everybody and all the support in the hospital room and everything. So yeah, amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us, Daniella. So basically, are these emotions affecting your happiness is the next question here.
Look, if you asked me that question maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago, I would have said definitely. However, in the past few days, been much more positive. I mean, much more positive. So yeah, so I think because I can see that with him, I'm definitely being much more happier myself. So yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so the next question is, do you have any other emotions that you would like to talk about? So as you can see, the questions are really, really in depth and they cover a lot. So you can choose to ask them or answer them, or not answer them. Completely up to you. So as a listener, this is not a counselling model, even though Daniella and I are both professional psychotherapists. This is a model for anybody in the general public to be able to use with anybody else who says they're not okay. So, and it just steps you through the questions. So they're very easy to ask, and it does take a lot of insight from the person and who's answering it, and it gives them a chance to feel heard and validated and understood, which is really, really important. And this also promotes empathy. So the empathy is really, really important. So by doing this, I'm actually hearing exactly what it's like for Daniella in her world at this moment, and understanding on a deeper level perspective of exactly where she is and what's happening for her. And then I'm actually able to give her more support. So, Daniella, are you needing some extra support with your emotions at this point? And if so, what sort of extra support do you feel would help you? Extra talking time, see a healthcare professional, just sitting with me and having a cup of tea. Is there anything that I can offer you at this point?
Right now, the support of my family and friends has been extraordinary, overwhelming, in a good way. And it's just been everything that I needed, to be honest. Just that it's just been great. And it really helps you. It really helps you keep those emotions positive. It helps you want to self-care as well, rather than falling in this really depressive state. And it's just been nice. It's been pleasant to offload to someone else. So do I need extra? I'd say no. I say I'm getting a lot of love, and that love is good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for sharing, because the other thing about doing this show is I want people who are watching out there to see that we professional psychotherapists who do this for a living also go through a lot of stuff ourselves. And one of the ways that we manage it is actually by talking. And you and I often talk to each other, and Jessica, one of the other people on here as well. We're a very big support network because she's also a psychotherapist. So, but the thing is with us, we do talk a lot to each other, and that's the key, the communication, so that we don't fall in a big hole and start to think all sorts of stuff. So, and you know, you girls, I take you through this model, like I've been talking about it for years and driving you all nuts at uni while I've been writing it. So, well, the next thing is meet your basic survival needs. So this is just basically about the need for water, food and clothing, which is a very, very basic human right and a very basic human need. So at this point in the model, the M in SEMPI stands for meet your basic needs. So now I'm going to ask you, have you had enough to eat and drink today?
Well, just woke up, but I did have breakfast.
Okay.
On an everyday basis, on those days that I am stressed, I kind of do forget to eat sometimes. However, I put a plan in place eventually. So I did kind of tell a friend, and so he's actually sending me messages. Don't forget to eat. So
that's good.
So
great.
It's almost like offloading a bit of self-care to someone else.
Yeah, okay. Well, at this point in time, yeah, whatever you need, Daniella, it's really, really important to speak up and ask for the help. And it's really interesting because at this point, sometimes it's very, very hard to accept the help. So I'm going a little bit off the model here and putting my psych hat on, but anybody who's using the model, stick to the questions here. But it's really, really difficult for some people to actually ask for help and accept help. But the only way to having really good mental health is to have a voice around it and to be able to talk with somebody and identify what it is we need and actually practice gratitude and acceptance, because the tables will turn, and at some point you will be the person then helping your friend and reminding them to eat. And this is what we have to remember in society. It's each time one of us goes down, one of us is up. So we just reach our hand down, help them get back up, and on that journey, on that way, we walk together. And then the next person who goes down, put your hand down, help them through, you know. And it just happens to be your turn at the moment. Gosh, who knows whose turn it's going to be next week, you know. Like, so just try and see each other's perspectives all the time and just keep communicating with each other and just checking in on each other and having these conversations, because the more we practice it, the easier it's going to get. So, okay, so let's go through. Do you have enough clothing to keep you warm or cool?
Yes, I'm very fortunate to have enough clothing to keep me cool, yeah. So.
Okay, because it's the middle of winter here in Australia for us. So this question's really interesting because we see some of the kids at school turning up in just T-shirts, and that's a bit of a flag. So when we're doing the SEMPI model with them in class, we always ask, do you have enough clothing to keep you warm or cool? So this is a really important question for the kids too, and a lot of the people who I work with who are homeless. So that's pretty important. And also for women in domestic violence who are fleeing different situations. often they'll have to leave with no clothes, just what they're wearing. And, you know, so it's a pretty serious kind of question too. So, and the next one is, do you feel safe and free to ask for food, water and clothing? Because being a psych yourself, what do you interpret that question to mean, Daniella?
Being a psych myself, I think that for me would be going up to friends and family, and if that is something that I need and I don't have access to, just going up to them and saying, look, I need that. I need help right now, and I don't have time to do it. Because in my circumstance, it's not that I don't have the money, but in my situation right now, it's more about time.
Yep.
And it would be, you know, could you help me out?
Yeah.
However, I actually, to answer the question, I haven't been afraid to say that, which is a good thing. And I think it was just probably about 2 nights ago, I expressed to Mum, I'm very hungry. I'm very, very hungry, on our way back from the hospital. And we went and we stopped at a pub and we had some good old pub food. And it was great. And I was very happy because it was the first time my mum's ever been to a pub. So, and it actually, we started taking pictures, and so yeah.
Oh, really? Because your mum she's Lebanese, isn't she?
She is, and I think she had this distorted or misconception about going to pubs, and I've been trying to tell her maybe for a year now, it's not what you think. And when she walked in, she's like, this is not.
Depends on the pub you go to, but yeah.
But it's a very nice pub.
Okay. So picked a good one for us, so that's good. So this other question here, do you feel safe and free to ask for food, water and clothing? This question is also in here for children who are experiencing trauma through divorce. So why I put this in here, because we are asked this because so many kids are in the middle of parents in big fighting situations and going through divorce, and when they get to school, what we've heard is sometimes they don't have enough clothing in the parents' house that they've gone to, and they're so scared to ask for the clothing from that parent, because with parental alienations, this is where this comes in. So we're diverging off a little bit into parental alienation here, but sometimes with the kids who are involved in divorce with their parents, if they're being moved from house to house, often with parental alienation, that's when one parent is talking very, very badly about the other parent, and often the child's not allowed to express how they're feeling, what their needs are, and they don't have a voice. So often they won't be asking for the clothing. And one of the little girls that I was talking to was so distressed because she was having to go to school, but all her school books were at the other parent's house, but she didn't dare ask about them or the clothes because she didn't want to upset the parent that she was staying with, because that parent was so mad at the other one. So that's where this question also can come in really, really handy. So yeah, do you feel safe and free to ask for food, water and clothing? Because often kids in parental alienation don't. So yeah, so that's another reason why that's in there. But so the next one is, do you have anything else that you would like to talk about regarding food, water or clothing? And are you okay to finish this conversation, or would you like some extra support? Because sometimes with the kids at this point, we take them into counsellor if we see anything going on at this point about this. So one of my other kids that I asked actually was telling me that he was sleeping in the caravan in the driveway and wasn't allowed in the house. So he was therefore not getting any meals. So by asking questions around food, water and clothing, it's really, really opens up a lot of different stories for people to actually be able to have a voice. So, yeah, and it just goes through and says, do you need any extra talking time, or would you like to go shopping? Sometimes, you know, it's just about going shopping. So, and that's a lot about practical support, because we see this with elderly people as well, so who are stuck in the community, and they might just not be eating and might not have a warm enough jacket. So it's a matter of taking them shopping. So this is about practical support. And would you like to get some food, water, or clothes when we finish going through the SEMPI model? So basically that's M for meet your needs, taken care of. So now we've been through, I'll just do a bit of a recap. We've done S for sleep and safety. So we've checked out how you've been sleeping. We've done E for emotions, and we've done M for meet your basic needs. So on the SEMPI model, the next letter is P. So P stands for physical health. So basically this is the need to feel physically well. So how is your physical body feeling at the moment, Daniella? And I'll just put the questions up there so people can see them.
At the moment, I've got almost like this crunching feeling in my stomach, because I'm still trying to get through the live stream, I think.
Okay.
But it was worse in the beginning, but it's slowly starting to calm down. So that's good news.
Okay, well, wonderful. Well, you're doing a really, really, really good job.
Thank you.
So I'm really proud of you. And I know that it was a big deal for you to come on here with me today. So, yeah, we're nearly through. We're on P. So now, are you noticing any unusual symptoms or any pain? So you've just spoken about probably anxiety or whatever it is that you're feeling. So is there anything else?
No, I haven't actually noticed any physical symptoms or any pain. However, I will mention this, oddly enough, that when I think it was maybe yesterday or the day before, my auntie was giving me a back massage, and it was just the most incredible thing I've ever felt in my life. And I was like, I don't know why. I've had many back massages, but this one I really appreciate. It's like it's really needed this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, all right. So that's good. So is there an area that stands out? For example, nausea, headache, leg or arm pain at all?
No. I feel like I'm just kind of like normal almost. It's just like I don't feel any pain anywhere. But it's almost if someone were to give me a bit of TLC, right now I'm going to really appreciate that.
Okay.
Yeah. I think now TLC would be great.
So did you say you're going to get your eyebrows done today?
Yes, I'm going to get my eyebrows done today after I think it's been 1 month or 2 months.
Okay, maybe they can give you a bit of a massage while they're there around your eyes.
I would love that. I would love that.
See if she's willing or he's willing to give it to you while you're there.
After that back massage, I think I might appreciate a back massage more. I really wouldn't mind a back massage. It was amazing.
So it says here, so if there's any area that stands out, if so, are you coping or do you need some practical support? So this question is probably not very applicable to you because you're not in a lot of pain, but for people who are living with chronic pain, or they're having any kind of serious treatments, chemotherapy, or just going in for operations, or we see a lot of the elderly actually talk a lot about this. This section here is huge for them. So it gives them an opportunity to actually speak about what's happening in their bodies. And then the nursing staff can actually, because the nurses are starting to do this too in the hospitals and the hospices, going through, say, how's your SEMPI? Once people learn it, it's very quick. So the people in the hospitals are now going, well, physically, I'm not feeling good today. And then you know, you go through and you actually talk about what it is, how's your physical body, what are your symptoms, are you having anything that's standing out, do you need some practical support, and then it goes through, do you have any other physical symptoms you'd like to talk about, are you feeling well enough, or do you need some more support, what sort of support do you feel would help you, extra talking time, seeing a healthcare professional. So basically, I'm just a listener at this point. So you would be empowered here and say, yeah, I need to go see my doctor. I need to go see my naturopath. I need to go see whoever it is that I see. So that's basically, yeah. And then there's that offer of practical support here. So then you can just take the person there, or follow up with them and check in on them. So that's basically what physical is. And the other thing that we're using this for is in schools. So one of my girls the other day, when she was asked this question in the classroom, said that she'd actually had a broken arm from where her dad threw her across the lounge room. So, and her arm was really, really hurting. So that immediately sparks a trip straight to the counsellor, blah, blah, blah. So when we're using this again in the schools, this is also a flag for a lot of the kids. So basically this model's written for everybody in general community. So they can all use it. Sorry. And then the very, very last question is about inclusion in community. So that's what the I stands for. So when we're saying, how's your senpai? If you choose I'm asking you, basically, are you feeling part of the community at the moment, Daniella?
Look, this has left me speechless. I've probably never felt part of the community more in my life than I do right now, to be honest. I mean, the amount of people just knocking out on our front door just with food. So there are times where we don't even have to ask for food. They're just coming and giving it. Saying, you know, if you need any help, let us know. Just all kind of rallying together. Even, you know, my friends here or overseas, just kind of really saying, you know, if you really need anything, let me know, or offering to do something. It's just been phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal, and it's been really beautiful to see that you've got massive support. It's like everyone's your cheerleader right now, and they're all cheering, and it's been phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, I'm glad. So I'm glad that we don't really have to worry too much about the rest of these questions, because once somebody's feeling that positively about the top question in inclusion, then the other ones become quite redundant. But the next question is, if not, would you like to talk to me now so I can listen without judgment to you? So do you know what the story's connected to? Because some people, I'll give you an example. So some people might say, no, I'm not feeling like part of the community. No one's even visited me for a week. My family aren't calling me, for example, elderly. My family aren't calling me. I've just been left for dead. So loneliness is a massive epidemic and a big, big problem. So that's why we're also using this brochure out in the community for people who are very lonely too. So they can just go through the questions here. And then the next one is this experience hard or upsetting for you? So it gives the person an opportunity to actually speak up about what it is that they're feeling emotionally. And is there anything else that you'd like to talk about now? So sometimes people in the hospices are like, yeah, I really, really want to talk about what's going on exactly for me now, because the nurses are seriously busy and a lot of them are very, very overworked. So, yeah, so that's really, really difficult. And are you feeling settled, or do you need some extra support? What sort of support do you feel would help you? Extra time, or see a healthcare professional? So the research that's come out now recently about data collected from within nursing homes is that 35%, I think, of people in dementia wards are currently being put on benzodiazepine and antipsychotics to actually keep their behaviour in check. And I've read the research paper and I've spoken to the head researcher. She's on LinkedIn with me. And this is just the most frightening statistic, because I do not want to end up in a nursing home on antipsychotics, on benzodiazepine if I don't need to be on any of those drugs. Yes, some people do. No, some people don't. So what's happening, according to the research, is the nurses are so stretched that they aren't getting any listening time. They're not getting any downtime, and they're suffering really from a lot of overload themselves. So the nurses really, really need help. So that's why we've got this model in the nursing homes too, because basically anyone who's a volunteer can come in, pick up one of these leaflets and go through all of the questions with people in the nursing homes as well, so, and the hospices. So not so much with dementia patients because they're a little bit different, but, and they have sorry, different needs, more specialised needs, but this gives the nurses a little bit of a break too, and allows people to feel heard, validated and understood. So, and, you know, so that's really, really important. I'm really, really proud of the fact that this is going out to the hospitals and hospices. So, and thank you again to the IGM Federation and Wendy and Dave, who've kindly printed these up for me and spreading them across to their affiliates in America. So, yeah, so basically that's it. And this is also, this question here, inclusion in community, when we're asking this in schools, the kids who are being bullied actually come forward. And some of the things that we're hearing is, no, I do not feel part of the community. When I came into the schoolyard, the group that I wanted to be with all walked off and left me. Then we've got the social media bullying as well. Like, one of the girls had a Facebook page made about her with all of this stuff about her on it, and it basically went out to everybody who was linked into that. So, and again, inclusion in community, 0 for her. She was really, really distressed. So luckily we asked her this question and she was able to talk to us and tell us what was going on. But until we ask these questions, the kids, if we just say to them, are you okay? A lot of the kids are like, what are you asking me that for? So if we say to them, how's your SEMPI? And they know the model, and these kids pick this up really quickly. They say, well, last night I didn't sleep because all I was thinking about was coming into school the next day and being picked on and bullied by this group of girls that are down there, and I just don't want to go down there. Emotionally, I'm just all over the place. One of the girls actually said she was suicidal. She's 13. She's actually, I've recorded her. She's on my YouTube channel. That conversation that I had with her is recorded on there, so you can go and watch it if you want to. She was very, very candid. You can't see her face or anything, but she did talk about what it was like for her being bullied at school. And so when I went through the model with her, she was saying she wasn't sleeping. Her emotions were all over the place. She was feeling suicidal. She meet your needs. Basically, she hadn't eaten or drunk anything that day. Physically, she was really, really scared of being beaten up. And inclusion, the I, she wasn't being included in anything. So when we asked her, how's your SEMPI, all of this stuff came out. So basically, yeah, so that's the model. So I just wanted to say thank you so much, Daniella, for going through it with me, and for anybody who wants to see the whole model and how I've used it interacting with Daniella during this session, just watch the live feed, and then I'm going to be downloading it and putting it up on YouTube, so it'll be there. So yeah, so at this point I've just noticed that Andrew's come in as well into the conversation. So he's one of my friends who's a poet. So hi there, Andrew. And is there any questions that anyone would like to ask of either Daniella or myself while we're kind of here? Just feel free to type. And Daniella, do you have anything that you'd like to say or add, or like what's the experience been like for you sort of going through the model?
I actually quite enjoyed the experience. It's almost been a bit of an offload for me as well, in a very nice, simple, calm way to talk about everything that's going on, especially because it has been going on now for a while and will continue to for quite a long time. But it's been nice. It's been nice to actually just talk about it in a very soothing way, so that it's not over emotional, and it's easier to just offload all the information and just say, practically, my needs, this is what I would like to happen, rather than, oh, this is what's going on and this is how I feel about it. It's kind of nice to say, this is what I want and this is what I think where I should be. And a few people, I feel that, not everyone, of course, but many people out there may not know how to get there, or what type of needs that they need to be met. Of course, how to pinpoint those type of things. And I think it clearly pinpoints which things are necessities that we need to look at. And it's nice that it covers everyone in society as well. It covers anyone who's in a good position, like myself. I guess I'm living in a safe and a nice, secure home with a great family, to people who, like you said, from children coming from broken homes, to domestic violence, to medical issues happening in hospitals or whatever. Yeah. So I think I really definitely appreciate that. Yeah.
So just Tom's asked a question, can the brochure be downloaded like a PDF? Yes, absolutely. And what I can do, Tom, if you'd like it, is I can sort of contact you via DM after this and let you know, because I actually haven't put it up on my website, which is something that I was going to do. So I've still got it. And when people ask me for it, I just send it to you via email. So yeah, absolutely. So the Tom's a vet as well, so he's very much a part of that community, and they're very, very special and very important community. So I know already that a lot of these brochures are going out to Iraq, to the soldiers, so to help them out there, just to go through How's Your Senpai together, so that they're checking in with the emotions and stuff, which is really amazing to think that, you know, we little Sydney Sykes are actually helping you guys over there. So yeah, so I'm more than happy to do that, Tom, and the brochures are free, and then the model is actually a pay it forward model. So once you learn it, then Daniella basically, if she needs to and she comes across somebody else and she asks them, are you okay? And they say no, she can go through the brochure with them, because now she understands what it's like to be a sharer, and then she now becomes a listener with the next person, so she pays it forward. So basically then we create this Senpai pay it forward chain of altruism, and hopefully community members will start to feel heard and not so much in crisis and just shut down, and mental health will start to settle, and people will start to feel more empowered. And because it's a holistic model too, it gives you a lot of insight into yourself, what's going on, and allows you to have a little bit more understanding of all the different human needs that we have. So yeah, so the need to rest, the need to sleep safely is one. The need for love, empathy, and to matter is emotion. The need for water, food, and clothing. The need to feel physically well. These are all just basic human needs, and the need to be included in community. And if we don't have all of these needs being met, we are not happy humans. And we want to be happy humans. We want to have good mental and physical health. And basically, that's what this brochure is all about. So thank you very much, Daniella, for actually being with me on the show and helping me to reduce stigma and empower community members, practice altruism, and just be a really awesome human. So thank you, Daniella, and thank you to everybody who's come on the show today. And yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and I'll be back next week again. So and I also want to say Ben's not with me today. I was going to say that right at the very beginning, but he's going to do some other things, so occasionally he'll be jumping back in and out, and then so I'll have different guests on the show. So if anybody wants to come on and be a guest with me and go through the SEMPI model with me, you're more than welcome. Just let me know and I'll have you on, and we can hear what it's like from your perspective and exactly what it's like for you. And yeah, you can then become a sharer. So thank you everybody, and I'll go now and I'll see you next week.
Yes,
thanks, Daniella. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, everyone, for being here. All right. See you later.
Bye.